Welcome to Women's Sports Weekly, where women's sports happen every day, but we talk about it once a week. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Carolyn. Women's Sports Weekly is a podcast where we discuss the latest news, explore interesting stories, and share our love for women's sports. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at WomensSportsWeeklyPod. Follow us and rate us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Send us an email at WomensSportsWeeklyPod@gmail.com, and we may feature your email on the Listener Experience Zone, the Les. We are celebrating 100 episodes. Scout is so excited. She's knocking over our camera. We are celebrating 100 episodes this week.
Woo! It's hard to believe we've made it this far, but it is a huge milestone for us, and it's very exciting.
Should we cheers our lattes? You made some lattes.
I did. Let's cheers.
Cheers! So for our 100th episode, we asked you all, our listeners, to send us in some questions. We said, you can ask us anything. And boy, did you. So we are doing a little bit different of an episode this week. We are just going to go through I think it's 30 plus of your questions that were sent in. So thank you for being part of it, and thank you for sending in questions as we celebrate.
Obviously, we would not be here without our listeners. Maybe we would. Maybe you would, because you like to talk so much.
I just talk into the void.
But seriously, we continue to do this. We continue to see growth, and we get positive feedback, which definitely motivates us. So we love our listeners, and getting questions from our listeners, this has honestly been the most fun, at least for me, in a while, just getting to see what people are curious about. And I just love getting to engage people that tune in every week.
And if I were to do one thing differently, I would have asked them for their response to these questions, because that would have been fun, because one listener did send in his response, and we'll get into it. But I would have loved to hear their take as well.
That would have been a fun thing to add on, but we did not do that.
But as we go through this, if you have your own personal opinion, please drop it in the comments. I really want to know what you all think too. And you can roast us, do whatever you want. Be a little bit nice. I'm a sensitive gal. Should we get into some questions?
Yeah, let's do it. We've gotten a ton of questions. We're here for it. We're excited to answer them. So let's dive right in.
But I'm going to start with a question from me first.
All right.
Because Spotify Wrapped came out last week, and I think we should share with our listeners our top 5 artists. I think they should get to know us a little bit more of what we are listening to when we're not on the microphone.
I think that's fun. Yeah, let's talk about what we listen to. And we're talking music, not podcasts.
Not podcasts. Although Women's Sports Weekly did make it into my top 5, but just barely, because our episodes are short.
Yes, it does go by listening minutes, but also in my top 5 proudly.
Okay, tell me your top 5 artists.
Starting with Olivia Dean, then Kendrick Lamar, Doechii, Chappell Roan, and Hozier. Hozier I was surprised about because I didn't realize I listened to him that much. I don't even really know much about him. A lot of Kendrick, Doechii, Chappell Roan, a lot of that is from running, working out.
Yeah.
And Olivia Dean just recently, I would say I've been nonstop listening to, and she snuck into number 1. So those are my top 5.
Love it. We had the same number 1. Everything else was not the same. So I also listened to a ton of Olivia Dean. We are pop girlies.
Yeah, you gotta love her.
And I am definitely a pop girly. So Olivia Dean in the number 1 spot, Burna Boy in number 2. He's always in my top 5 for the past 3 years. Beyonce at number 3, Justin Bieber in number 4, and then Edwin Raphael, who I actually had no idea who he was, but I make a playlist for yoga every week, and Edwin Raphael has a Shavasana song that I like to play. And so I think it was my most played song. So that's how he slid in there. Shout out to you, Edwin. And yeah, those are our top 5. So if you want to listen to the music we're listening to, I guess go to my Spotify and find my Justin Bieber, Olivia Dean playlist that I play in a lot of my yoga classes.
That is a good one. I've started following that particular playlist as well.
All right. We broke up the questions from our listeners into 3 separate areas: podcast questions, sports questions, and then personal questions. So let's get into podcast questions first.
Let's do it.
What is the origin story of the podcast? How did you get Danielle to say yes? I also love that people know that I'm so active on our social media that all the questions were like directed to me, and any that were specifically directed to you, they were like, Danielle needs to answer this one.
Let me do this from my perspective, because I think we have 2 different perspectives of the origin, and then you share yours. For me, I was on a work trip, and Carolyn reached out to me via text. We were just randomly texting, as we do. And
we're married.
Out of nowhere, you literally said, hey, should we start a podcast? And I remember reading it and being like, what is she talking about? And I was like, what do you mean? And you were like, well, we always talk about sports. And I just figured, why don't we just talk about it for other people as a podcast? And I was like, are you serious about this? And sure enough, you were. I don't remember how you got me to say yes, but from your perspective, let's hear what your origin was.
When I get something in my head, I tend to go hard at it.
Yeah, I think we're both similar in that regard.
I've always loved podcasts. I listen to a ton of them all the time, probably to a fault. It's a way that I like to disassociate. So the moment I'm by myself, I turn on a podcast.
And when she says by herself, she means the moment she steps foot out of our bedroom in the morning, I hear it in the hallway as she's walking to the bathroom. And I'm like, oh my gosh, not a second of silence in the morning.
No silence for me. No sitting with my own feelings, just podcast. There was that piece. Like, I'm a big podcast fan. At the time, we started this now 2 years ago. There were not many women's sports podcasts.
Literally none. When you would search it in Spotify, there were like these randoms that maybe 2 episodes were released and it was like, oh, this must have been someone's school project or something.
Yes. And so we did research and there were sports specific podcasts, but not like a general one. And even Good Game with Sarah Spain came out after us. A Touch More with Sue and Megan came out after us. So we were like, there is a gap here. That was one thing I noticed, and I was getting really, really frustrated. And then third, selfishly, the way that I process is by speaking. My dad passed away in January of 2022. Sports was a cornerstone of our relationship. And I do think there is a piece of me that this was like part of my grief process, honestly, of I need to use my voice in a way where I can feel connected with others, where we feel more connected. And it was a fun way in order to do that. So I didn't know that at the time, but now reflecting back, I'm like, oh, this was kind of part of my grief process of I need to somehow use my voice in a way that I used to use with my dad and get it out into the world.
That makes a lot of sense. How did you get me to say yes?
Like I said, when we get into things, there's like really no saying yes. It's just like, are you jumping on this ride or are you not? I think the way that I got Danielle to say yes is that I just did everything. Like I got the microphones, I got the mixer. I was like, this is how we're going to do it. I set up the first episode and I incessantly talked about it for weeks. Mm-hmm. For weeks, I was like, this is how we're going to do it. This is what it's going to look like. And I just think it became undeniable that this train was moving and Danielle could hop on or not. And that was that.
Yeah. And you continue to do most of the work for the podcast. I was just listening to A Touch More earlier today and they brought on the Mewis sisters because the Mewis sisters now have a podcast as well. But Sue and Megan were saying how Sue is the person who does all the things for the podcast and Megan just shows up, and it's pretty much the same with us. And
that's not true though. You do a lot.
But I was giggling listening to them talking about that because it was like, yeah, Megan just shows up and then she like doesn't know what to say. Megan was like, yeah, I look at the document, but I realize I'm not reading it because I just get anxious. So I'm just staring. And I can relate a lot to that.
We've had some of those times where I'm like, do you have anything to say on this topic?
There's been growing pains, but we've definitely hit our stride and it is definitely fun to connect with people in a different way. So I'm happy we're here.
You are? Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm glad we have that on record. If you had to make another podcast that was non-sports related, what would it be?
You can go first.
Mine's easy. Bears. I would do a Fat Bear Week podcast. I would talk about the bears. I would tell you everything about them.
What would you talk about when they're in hibernation, though?
Fun bear facts. We could have people come on. There's not a ton when the bears are in hibernation. So maybe it would be not a weekly podcast, but we go hard when the bears were not hibernating and then take a little break.
Got it. I could see that.
What about for you?
I have a few that came to mind. House projects, because that literally consumes our lives at the moment, which we have talked about it a lot on the podcast.
So what would your podcast be? Like you talking about them? Are you walking us through it?
Just talking about it, the ups and downs. I think you could get a lot of good content out of that. And honestly, what we've learned, where we've gone wrong. I don't know, just everything. Like uncovered what it's like to do house projects. I don't know.
With your wife who does not like to do manual labor.
The other things that came to mind, there's 3 topics that could go in one. It's cooking, coffee, and cocktails.
Wow.
Because as you know, I wouldn't say I'm a huge cook. I have to follow a recipe. I'm not someone who could just whip something up, but I like trying new things. I love coffee and like coffee drinks, trying
Like this
to
latte.
get new things. I would spend more time trying to get my milk art down.
I know. The milk art is hard.
I know. And then cocktails. I feel like it all can go. So like food and drink of some sort. I feel like that would be fun to talk about too.
What would you call it?
No idea. What
You
would you
could
call
it
your...
something with a play on the word bear. Like
There you
just
go.
barely there.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah. You could call it like the 4 C's. Cooking, cocktails. What was the third one?
Coffee.
Coffee and Carolyn.
There you go.
With big D. All right, let's get into the next one. We're rolling on through. What is your favorite episode that we've recorded?
For me personally, I'm going to do 2 separate ones because sometimes we interview people and most of our episodes are just us. I would say the episode for just us was Unrivaled because that was our first big like thing we've done media wise and met so many players and learned a lot. So I thought that one was so fun, and listening back to us on the court when we were just talking about what we were thinking and seeing when we were watching one of the practices, and then having Skylar Diggins do a 5-minute interview with us. Just that whole weekend was so much fun, and I feel like we learned a lot, and listening back was a lot of fun. And then when it comes to interviews, I have to go with Ryan Rucco.
The Unrivaled episode was episode 59, if you want to take a listen to that. And the Ryan Rucco episode was episode 88.
Yes.
Those were 2 great ones. Ugh, so good.
What would you say your top are?
I have a lot of favorites. So episode 54 is one of my favorite interviews. It's an interview with Frankie De La Creta, and we talk about trans inclusion in sports. So if you haven't listened to that one, it's one of our most listened episodes. It's so smart. Frankie is so smart. Just loved having them on the podcast. Another one, a more fun one, all the way back in episode 17. I haven't listened to this one in a while, but you read your letter that you wrote, a Facebook letter to Candace Parker, and it is so sweet.
From sophomore year in high school.
So amazing. You should give it a listen if you haven't. And then I also loved from this year, episode 65, when we discussed the shit show that was the Final Four this year.
Yeah.
The Final Four competition was great, but our personal journey at the Final Four and Danielle getting very, very sick. Anytime that we're giggling and laughing is amazing.
If you haven't listened to that, I did get the stomach virus of some sort the night before the national championship. So instead of going to the national championship, I was back at the Airbnb half dying, and I passed out the night before.
The pass out was the best.
Yeah. Just if you haven't listened, it's worth hearing what happened that weekend. That's just one of many things that went wrong for us, but still we love the Final Four. Hopefully this year we go again and I make it to the national championship game.
We can only hope. Next question. 2 people sent in similar questions. So one is, who is your dream guest that you haven't interviewed yet? The similar one was, if you had the opportunity to interview anyone in women's sports, who would it be and why?
Who do you got?
This changes all the time because I really just want to interview interesting people. I think it would be really fun to get the stud buds on and interview them. I just think they have such a fun energy. I think we would all have fun together. So that's one. Obviously, Serena Williams, because she is my favorite athlete, but I think I would just be so nervous that I wouldn't know what to do. So that actually scares me a little bit. And then I would also love to have Sue Bird and Megan Rapinoe on. Someone similar to us together and doing similar things, just with a lot more resources and money. And I just admire them both.
I could name a million people. One person who I love is Skylar Diggins, but since we kind of did get to interview her, it was a short interview, I'll leave her off. My number one would be Candace Parker. I did meet her at the Final Four the one year, but it was like a meet and greet where there was a line and she was just doing her job and taking pictures and getting people in and out. But I think to have her on the podcast and actually sit down and talk to her would be really cool. I was thinking back, the cool thing about my love for Candace Parker is my dad or anyone in my family didn't have a connection to Tennessee. That was just something I fell in love with. Pat Summitt and Candace Parker, there was something about that team that I just was obsessed with. Like literally my room in high school was 2 walls were the Tennessee orange, and the women, so the men don't wear the light blue, but the women at Tennessee have the light blue in their uniform, and 2 walls were light blue. I had a Tennessee blanket. I had Tennessee basketballs. My room was totally decked out. I did graphic design projects on Candace Parker and the team. So I think finding a team and a player that I loved all on my own without any outside
influence.
Influence. I think that's what makes it so special for me. And I still listen to her. She has a podcast with Leah Boston, and I just think she would be really great to have on and just like shoot the shit with. Just get to know her better.
I think I would do a lot better with your favorite person. Like, I think I would do a lot better with Candace Parker, because I would be so happy for you. And then I would be like, okay, I want this to go well for Danielle. What are the things we can ask? If anyone listens to Armchair Expert, I think Dak Shepard does a really good job of getting into it with people and making them feel comfortable. And I would really love to do that more with athletes. Have an extended period of time. I am a context person. I want to know where you're from. I want to know what your parents are like. I want to know how you grew up. Like, I want to know all of those things so I can understand you better. So an opportunity to sit down and do that with someone would be my dream.
Yeah, that would be really cool. So our next question is, what is your favorite opportunity you've received because of the podcast so far?
It has to be media access. That is just so cool that people let us come in, interview people, ask questions. And it's something that I don't take for granted at all. And I think we do a good job of it because we have so much respect for the people that we get to interact with. So the media access for me is definitely at the top.
Yeah, I agree. We've had some really cool experiences. And then other than that, I would just say the community that we've formed since the podcast has also been a huge highlight.
For sure. We have new friends because of this podcast. That is so amazing. The people who interact with us on social media who don't know us, it's really cool.
Yes.
We're really thankful.
And then another question we received is, in light of Kanye's betrayal list, what is the Women's Sports Weekly betrayal list? I have to say, I have no idea what that means. I don't know about Kanye's betrayal list. Are we surprised? I love you. But I understand what it means. I just don't know what his betrayal list is. But anyways.
You don't need to. And this is the kind of unhinged question that I freaking love. So thank you for sending this in. So Kanye West went on Twitter on one of his rants and he named names of people who have betrayed him.
Wow.
So who's on our list?
I know we have strong feelings about one person in particular.
Michael Porter Jr. is at the top of our betrayal list. We have one star review on Apple Podcasts, and I'm convinced it's either him or someone in his family. Because way back in one of our earlier episodes when we talked about Michael Porter Jr., I tagged his sister in the post, and then we got our 1-star review. So he is at the top, and he continues to say the most stupid shit all the time. You have an opportunity to uplift people. You have sisters. You have a mom who also played sports, and you just choose to shit on women all the time. You are at the top of that list.
Yeah, he sucks. Literally sucks.
I'm so glad he's not on the Denver Nuggets anymore.
Same.
Goodbye. Also on my betrayal list are all the agents who we've reached out to who just do not respond to us when we ask if we can have an interview with someone they represent.
Yeah.
Y'all, we try. We try.
Another one. We all missed the Chicago Sky game. We were supposed to go see the Chicago Sky play the Minnesota Lynx back in July. And our many flights just got canceled that night for whatever reason. So we never made it to Chicago. And we really wanted our free t-shirt that day. Angel Reese, for the video game cover, they were giving away free t-shirts. They would have been ours. We did not get those t-shirts. So whoever did not send those to us, betrayal.
Betrayal. Chicago Sky betrayal list. Whatever neurovirus you had at the Final Four, that is also on our betrayal list.
That was the worst I felt to date, I think, ever. It was awful.
And then last on our betrayal list is anyone who listens but doesn't rate and subscribe.
Ooh, you know who you are.
You know who you are, and you're on our betrayal list. Oh my God, I love that. Okay, how does it feel knowing you have so many international listeners? We got our Spotify wrap. We posted on our Instagram if you want to see listeners from 38 different countries, up from last year. It is amazing, but I do need to be a little transparent. 96%, it might be even higher than that, are from the US. So we have like a sprinkling of listeners from other countries. We know we have some Canadians listening in, and we love you so much because we always screw up on Canada, and we just so appreciate that you listen to us. How does it feel for you?
I don't really feel one way or another about it. I think it's very cool that Spotify allows people from all over to listen. Yeah, it's cool.
You want to shout out our listeners from Singapore or
sure,
the Philippines?
Yeah, thank you.
Germany. it is surreal. It's surreal that people decide to listen to us.
Yeah, I guess I can't really wrap my head around it. I don't think too much about it, but it is very cool.
And we appreciate you. If you're listening in a different time zone, if you're not our friend, we appreciate that you're listening if you're our friend.
Yes.
It's just all very surreal.
Yes. What has the intersection of the podcast and your run club meant to you over the past few months? So we started Run Club back in March. The podcast has been going on for almost 2 years. For me, just the community around it, the community around the Run Club, the fact that we were able to merge the two, that's been huge. And that's been my favorite part, just the new friends we've made.
Yeah, and also shout out to the 99ers for hosting us. And they were the ones who actually gave us the idea to be like, you should do a secret word. We want people who come to Run Club to also support you. And so that support has meant everything. I said this last week, but I hate the running part and I love the people who are there. I really do. I think a lot of people in Run Club have showed up, and including me, on nights where we just didn't feel mentally ready to do it or we had a bad day, and you get together with these people and we're just chatting, having serious conversations and not serious conversations, and I always leave feeling better. So the fact that this podcast also created a community of people that I hang out with every week is really amazing.
I agree.
Love you, Run Club. Ooh, this is a good one. What has been the hardest part of committing to doing the pod?
For me, I would say just the stress of the extra time involved. It's just another weekly commitment, and you and I do a lot. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of weekly commitments as is. I just think the added stress of like, oh my gosh, when are we going to record? When are we going to edit? It definitely takes time out of our week. So I would say that's the biggest / hardest thing for me.
Yeah, and we don't talk about it on the podcast, but we both have full-time jobs that we do. And then we do this podcast every week. It is a huge time commitment and we love to do it, right? Like we're not going to complain about it. And maybe we are complaining about it right now, but the time commitment and giving something weekly to people. And we're very committed to doing that because we know how important consistency is. It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. We have this huge Google Doc where we input everything that we're going to talk about this week. We do a lot of research in most of our podcasts of stats and where things are. We're tracking things throughout the week. So it is a big, big time commitment, but one that we're ultimately happy to do.
Yes, for sure.
For me, the hardest part is when technology doesn't work. That really drives me crazy. When we do all this work, we set up to record, we record it, and then it's like, it didn't go through.
There's been more episodes than I want to admit that we've had to re-record after recording for over an hour because it just crashed and did not save.
Or the sound wasn't good, and we know how important sound is. So those are the things where I'm like, why do we do this? Why do we do this again?
Next question is, if you had a chance to rename the podcast, would you? And if so, what would it be? I thought about this and I can't imagine having a different name. So yeah, I like Women's Sports Weekly. I'm sticking to it.
We would love to hear if you all have other ideas of what we could have named the podcast. That would be interesting to hear. We almost named it Women's Sports Wednesday. I'm glad that we didn't because we've changed days that we release. We're releasing currently on Wednesdays, but that may change in the future just based on schedules and things like that. So I'm happy we didn't do that. The other piece is that because we're not famous, we're not influencers, Women's Sports Weekly for us is a great podcast name. And this is kind of pulling back the curtain, but like when people input a women's sports podcast and just put women's sports or a Women's Sports Weekly podcast, we're going to show up naturally. Yep. And we know that people aren't searching because of us, right? No one's putting in Danielle Bryan and Carolyn Bryan. People are looking for a women's sports podcast, and we hope that we are up near the top when they search that. Yes. So for that reason, I wouldn't change it. If we were famous, I would love to do something more fun and play on words, but Women's Sports Weekly is perfect.
Yes. Another question that came in, what has been the most unexpected outreach as a result of the podcast?
I think for me, it's people, and I mentioned this a little bit, but people we don't know listening to the podcast has been very unexpected. The fact that people who are not connected to us in some way listen is just amazing.
I don't know if that would be unexpected for me because that's the whole point.
But I truly thought we were going to do this and just friends and family were going to listen and we were going to be like, okay, that was a fun little thing we did. But now it's just grown so much and we're getting these opportunities. It just feels like we have to do it because there's people who don't even know us who listen in every week.
Yeah, I do like people reaching out to us on socials and things like that. And then just going back to the international listenership, like that's pretty cool. Just how many people we've reached across the board.
Yeah. And the fact that we reached out to Ryan Rucco and he was like, yeah, of course I'll come on. That was unexpected just to get a yes.
True. And it was started with us adding something to our story, and it was like petition to get Ryan Rucco on the pod, and he responded to our story and said would love to.
Yeah. Which is wild. That was also very unexpected because we do send a lot of outreach out and get a lot of no's or just like mostly no responses. So to have that was amazing. Finally, in this podcast realm, what is the goal for the next 100 episodes of Women's Sports Weekly?
For me personally, I would say more growth. It's great to see growth. If we're not growing, what are we doing? And a sponsorship would be nice.
It would be. It'd be nice to get some sponsorships. And would we love to do this full time? Yes, but I'm not naive enough to think that. I think when we started, I was naive enough to think.
And I was like, Carolyn, come on. Reel it in.
I was naive enough to think that this could be our full-time job. I've become a little bit more realistic. I would just love some sponsorship to get compensated something, right?
Yeah.
And then to put it back into the podcast, to have a better website, to maybe hire someone to do some of our social media because we both are not social media gurus. So some of that stuff, if we had sponsorship, would be great. But in a perfect world, if I won the lottery tomorrow, what I would do is go around and watch women's sports. So if we ever had the opportunity to do that more, of just go and watch sports live, that would be great. Will it happen in the next 100 episodes? Who knows? It's like another 2 years from now. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
True. And more interviews. That'd be cool too with athletes.
Yes, that would be wonderful. So those are some of our goals. Okay, let's get into the sports section.
Yes. So the first one's kind of funny and it's kind of about us, but I guess it's sports too. But someone said between Carolyn and Danielle, who would win the following? So I'll just list them off and then we could go back and talk about each one. First, pancake eating contest. Second, mini golf. Third, 100-meter dash. Fourth, penalty shootout versus each other as goalies. And fifth, 10 games or frames of bowling.
All right, let's get into it. Pancake eating contest. Should we try to do a 1, 2, 3 and see if we have the same answer?
Are we going to say our names or say you or me?
Say the name.
Okay.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Oh, wait. Did we say which one we're doing first? Pancake eating contest.
Yes. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Carolyn.
Yes. Yeah. Anything food related, I am throwing it down.
All right. Mini golf.
Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Danielle. Wow. Thank you.
I will admit it, mostly because you've beaten me in mini golf before.
Thank you. Okay.
I'm not happy about it.
100-meter dash.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Danielle.
Okay. Let's fight because...
Oh, this wasn't a boxing competition.
No, I'm ready to fight about this one. You run long distances.
Uh-huh.
Quicker than I do.
Don't say quickly, but I am faster than you.
Yes. I think I am a faster sprinter than you.
We haven't tested this out, so it's kind of a you said, me said, no.
You don't think so?
So maybe we should try it.
We need to ask someone on our softball team. Okay, for the record, we are not fast sprinters. We're not going to beat
No, I would never use fast next to my name.
So this is a tale of two slow people running. But we've run down first baselines before, and you think you get faster down the first baseline than I do.
Is that 100 meters?
No, that's like
less than
60 feet.
I think 100 meters I'm beating you.
Oh, you think I'm going to start out
I just
strong.
think the question is not first base. It's 100 meters. I think I'm beating you.
Do you think I'll beat you to first base?
I have no idea, but that's not the question. 100 meters.
Y'all, we're going to have to do this.
We should do it.
Okay.
Penalty
shootout versus each other as goalies. In soccer or hockey?
Soccer.
Because my answers change.
Soccer.
Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Danielle.
She was a goalie.
And I was a great penalty shooter.
Oh, okay.
I was.
I would just try to kick it as hard as I could. I would probably just score field goals. I do think I would have a better shot in hockey.
I have no idea of my ability at hockey, so sure. And then 10
frames of bowling.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Danielle.
Danielle, I've seen her shoot a bowling ball between her legs shoot a bowling ball between her legs. What else do you call it? Bowl a bowling ball between her legs and get a spare. Like, just ridiculous things. Danielle is just very athletic, unfortunately, for me.
Okay, less about us. This is truly more of a sports question. I guess this has been a trend that goes on between the NBA or WNBA. So we were given categories, and we will go through each category. And we had to pick a player for every category to create the perfect WNBA player, in our opinion.
Yes.
One thing to note is we cannot pick the same player more than once for a category. So, for example, we couldn't pick Asia Wilson for 3 categories, even though maybe we thought she should be.
Yes. So once we use a player once, we can't do it. And they have to be existing players.
Yes, current WNBA players, not all time, just to narrow things down a bit. So we will go through, explain what category is up and what player we chose.
The person who wrote this in is Matt, and he actually gave us his list as well, and we'll read that as well. Let's go through it. So the first stat, and we did this together, so we don't have 2 different ones, is basketball IQ, and we did Alyssa Thomas.
And then we have shooting, Kayla McBride.
For scoring, we chose Asia Wilson.
Passing, Chelsea Gray.
Handles, we chose Caitlin Clark.
Finishing, Nafisa Collier.
Defense, we chose Gabby Williams, who led the league in steals.
Athleticism, Dearica Hamby or Ryan Howard. We couldn't really choose on that one.
I had to add Ryan Howard in here, but I do think both equally athletic and just 2 people who I feel like don't have to try hard to be good in the WNBA, and that just blows my mind.
Yes.
For strength, we chose none other than Jackie Young.
Yeah. Have you seen her biceps? Speed, Kelsey Mitchell.
Clutch factor, we chose Sabrina Ionescu. We struggled with a lot of these because we could only use people once. It took us a while to get to basketball IQ. We were going through, and clutch was also hard, but at the end of the game, I want the ball in Sabrina Ionescu's hands.
Yep. Trash talk was an easy one for me. Marina Mabry.
And then Matt added in fashion sense, which we did Skylar Diggins.
Which I'm sure you have some thoughts about. I threw Skylar in there because I love her fashion, but you can't go wrong. There's so many players with great fashion in the league, and so many players could have fit all these categories.
Correct. And putting her in the fashion category means we couldn't use her anywhere else, which was also interesting. We would love to know your thoughts, but here are Matt's thoughts. For basketball IQ, he chose Skylar Diggins. He said he had to go with a veteran. For shooting, he chose Caitlin Clark with Alicia Gray as a close second. For scoring, same as us, Asia Wilson. For passing, he chose Maureen Johannes from the New York Liberty because he felt like every game she has like some kind of highlight reel pass, which I do agree with. For handles, he chose Courtney Vandersloot. Finishing, like us, chose Nafisa Collier. For defense, he chose Aaliyah Boston, which I like that pick because she's just so pesky. Athleticism, KFC, Kalia fucking Copper. It's great.
And then for strength, he said Alyssa Thomas.
He said he thought that was the only answer.
I disagree, but that's okay. Speed, Kelsey Mitchell. Clutch, Stewie. And we had a hard time not adding Stewie to our list, to be honest.
It's pretty criminal.
Trash talk, Marina Mabry, same as us.
And he said only because he couldn't use Alyssa Thomas twice.
Thomas would have been a good one too.
But she was our IQ.
And fashion sense. Oh, Matt, he didn't have input on that one. You could have picked someone.
Who's like the most lumberjacky person in the WNBA?
I don't think Matt would go for that.
But that's his fashion sense. His was probably like Cam Brink.
No,
he loves DeWanna Bonner.
Yeah, I was like, come on, Carolyn.
Matt loves DeWanna Bonner. Oh, I love it. All right, let's get into our next question. Do you have any big women's sports events you're attending soon?
So the next big one, well, we don't know. We have some on our list that we want to attend, but we have not committed to anything yet. So yes, we are just still figuring out what.
Yeah. What I would like to do is I'd like to do the Final Four. We'd like to get back to Unrivaled. We definitely want to do the PWHL games here in Denver.
Yes.
But yeah, we don't have anything like set
And once
in stone.
NWSL starts, we did buy our season tickets for Denver Summit, but there's a lot on the list. We just have to start like making moves. Yeah.
Paying for things, getting them on the calendar, seeing if we could get media. But those are some of the things that I would love to do more. Like I said, if we could really expand this, I would be going to everything.
Yes. In the same realm, we got, are you coming to Philly Unrivaled with me and Joey, please?
So you need to give some context of who that's from.
Erica wrote this in, and Joey is her little baby.
And Erica is your best friend.
Yes. So, Erica, we are going to try our best to come to Philly Unrivaled. We really want to. We just haven't made a decision yet.
We've got some things we need to work out, but we cannot wait to meet Joey.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited.
Give me all the tiny little babies.
I know.
All right, I like this one. If you were to have a puppy, kitten, fish, child, etc., and had to name it after an athlete, who would it be?
So I have two. Parker. I like the name Parker and Candace Parker. I thought that'd be cool.
For what? What kind of animal or
I don't know.
child?
Just anything.
Animal or child?
Yes. I'm just giving two names. And then Skylar for Skylar Diggins. Someone else I love. And I love that name.
Okay. I don't like either of those names.
I wasn't asking.
If we were to have a kid together.
All right. What are your choices?
And it's not that I don't like the name Parker, just my best friend has a Parker.
Yes.
So I feel like I couldn't do
I was going off of people I like and naming.
Okay. For child, I like Natasha Cloud. And I like Tosh to shorten it. So that's one that I do like. For like puppy, kitten, fish, animal, I would think it was funny to name it Marina. I would want to name it after someone who's like a little bit unhinged. I do like the idea of a little Marina cat.
There you go. All right. Next question. What is your favorite sports rivalry? What do you got, Car?
Ooh, I have to do the South Carolina versus LSU women's basketball rivalry. It's just really, really good. Sometimes they get in physical fights, which I don't love, but that is a rivalry that I love to watch. And also in the soccer realm, the U.S. women's national team versus Canada is another favorite of mine. It's just so interesting to me how we just don't want to lose to Canada in any sport. So
Yeah.
I love that.
My two top are from NCAA women's basketball. I would say Notre Dame versus UConn, or historically, not necessarily anymore, but when Pat Summitt was still alive and coaching, Tennessee versus UConn or Gino versus Pat. Those are some good pastimes. So I would give those two.
Those are good ones. Okay, moving right along. These are funny. Fuck, marry, kill. Paige Beckers, Skylar Diggins, and Asia Wilson.
This is cruel to put together because this is really difficult. Oh, I don't want to kill any of them. This is really hard.
Skylar Diggins, let's be honest. She scares me. I'm scared she would eat me right up. So I'm going to go, and with all respect to her, because I also don't want this getting back to her.
Also, this makes me cringe. Can we do start, cut, bench instead of
kill? Yeah, we're not killing anyone.
Can we change a sorry to Carly who submitted this, my sister, but we're going to change it to start, bench, cut. But I don't like fuck, marry, kill.
Okay, but start, bench, cut, but in a sexual way.
No.
Yes.
Because you could do it in a
totally
sexual way.
Changes it. Okay, so not saying that I would kill anyone. I would marry Asia Wilson and get down with Paige Beckers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I would start Skylar Diggins.
Are you talking about in a basketball sense?
No, I'm just in a everything sense.
Okay.
I'm going off of who I like. I like all these people. This is why this is really hard.
Okay. We just need the listeners need the context.
Okay, I'm starting Skylar. I'm benching Asia.
Okay.
And because I'm weird about age, makes it easier for me because Paige is so young. I'm gonna cut her.
Okay, there we go.
Because she literally just got out of college, and that just makes me cringe if we're talking about it in like a
sexual way.
Yeah,
Danielle does not like an age gap.
Sorry to anyone with age. It just me thinking about younger people. It just no, I don't like it. Don't like it.
Okay, well we got some oldies for you next because the next one is Gino Auriemma, Kathy Engelbert, and Holly Rowe.
Okay, this is not going to be in a sexual way at all because I don't see any of these people in a sexual way.
Oh,
so
I'm getting down. Let's go.
I'm putting that right now.
You have to. You have to do that.
No. All right, you go.
Ooh. I'm marrying Holly Rowe.
Okay.
She's just so cute.
No, you're starting Holly Rowe.
No, I'm doing this the right way. I'm marrying Holly Rowe. I'm having sex with Gino.
Ugh. Stop it. Don't even say that.
And Kathy is going off to the side. She's had a rough year. I can't be associated with it.
Oh. All right, I'll start Holly, bench Gino, cut Kathy. So
we're on the same page. We could do it together. We could do it together.
Gross. Okay, moving right along. Your future child has to choose between softball and basketball. How will you work out the conflict? To me, I'm going to try really hard to not try to... Obviously, we'll introduce our future kid to sports and hopefully they like something. That's what I care about. And I'm really hoping I could be a parent who cares really deeply about what they care about and not try to persuade them one way. So hopefully there is no conflict.
That's right. And you have said before that you would be upset if you had to spend a lot of time on a softball field.
Did I?
Yeah. You were like, that's a lot of time.
I don't remember saying that. I like softball.
I know you do.
I think you're making that up.
I am not making that up.
Okay.
But yeah, at the end of the day, we would love our child to have an interest in something.
Yeah.
And that it could be non-sports related.
Yeah, absolutely.
As long as they're interested in something, we would be very happy. So if it's softball over basketball or basketball over softball or Dungeons and Dragons over everything, we want to support them in that. At least that's what we're telling ourselves now.
Yeah. Things could change once we have kids. Okay. What athlete would win the Great British Baking Show? I love this.
I have no idea. I did this because I like what they create. Ryan Howard and Alicia Gray do the taste tests. And for that reason, I'm like, maybe they could go in there and put something together that's really, really good. So those are my choices, them together.
Ryan Howard and Alicia Gray?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
So I know Marina Mabry does her like cooking with Marina, but
she might be the first one voted off.
But we know it's not good because players have said it's not good. So Dejanay, and I know this is not baking. Dejanay's helped her with cooking, but I'm going to give it to Dejanay because Dejanay helped Marina with her cooking. So maybe she's a good baker too.
All right. Like it.
Dejanay Carrington, for those who don't know who I'm referring to.
What two players would be the best president and vice president? I've mentioned this before on the podcast. I think defenders for the U.S. women's national team have a very presidential way about them, and retired Becky Sauerbrunn and now playing Naomi Girma would make a very good president-vice president combo. Doesn't matter who's in the president spot, who's in the vice president spot. I think they're very smart and have some great ideas and always stand up for the right thing. So those would be my choices. What about you?
I'm going with two WNBA players. I'm going with Nafisa Collier and Nneka Agumbake. Again, I don't know who would be in what position. I think they would both be great in either position, but those would be my top.
And maybe the Stud Buds make a run for president.
I don't know about that.
That would also be very funny. What league would you most likely get drafted for right now?
Unrealistically, the league I would want to get drafted for is the WNBA. Whatever happened, obviously not. But that's what I would want.
I'm going to try to be more realistic about this. And I'm going to say if there was a rowing professional league, I would want to do that. I've never actually been on the water, but on the concept rower in the gym, I can move some calories on that thing and I love it. So that would be my choice.
You could train for the Olympics.
Yes.
Who would be your starting 5 basketball team if you had to pick from a coach's pool?
Okay, I'm going Dawn Staley, Becky Hammon, Carol Lawson, Kim Mulkey, and Christy Tolliver. Are they all guards? Yes. But I can't find a big.
I know. We struggled with this.
What about you?
Neil Ivey, Sandy Brondello, Stephanie White, Dawn Staley, and Kim Mulkey.
Dawn Staley and Kim Mulkey on a team together sounds insane. And we both have it. Okay, this is a fun one. This was directed to me, but it's for both of us. Yes. Carolyn, if Danielle was a coach, what would be her best quality and her worst quality? And then vice versa. You're going to answer for me. Mm-hmm. So I think your best quality is that you are an amazing listener and you are very good at validating people's feelings. So I think everyone would feel like very seen and very heard. And I think you would create a culture that people would want to be a part of.
Thank you. That's very sweet.
You're welcome. What I think your worst quality would be is that you have a really hard time losing and not getting your way. You really, really struggle. You tend to harp on it for a very, very long time. And I think it would be very frustrating for the people that you coached. And I think it would be to your detriment.
Fair.
What about for me?
So your best, you deeply care about other people. And I just think the players would see that very obviously and really appreciate that. And I think that would be great. Also great culture around that. Just caring.
So we would have a really good culture if we coached together. I
was having a hard time thinking about worse qualities, but then you were like, well, what do you get annoyed at me for? I was like,
You're like, I've got some ideas.
I'm like, what do I always bug you about? You're stubborn like Bull.
I am a Taurus.
And you, when it comes to certain things, have zero patience. Yep. And I think that would be really difficult as a coach to have no patience.
When things get hard, I get real angry.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. All right. Who are your favorite teams in each league? And they provided all the leagues. So WNBA, the Atlanta Dream for me.
And the Seattle Storm for me.
We're going to go through these quickly. NWSL, the Denver Summit.
For both of us.
Love. PWHL, both of us are going with Montreal.
Yes.
The Montreal Victoire. In rugby, obviously, we're picking the Denver Onyx.
Gotta.
Athletes Unlimited softball, I'm going with the Bandits.
Same.
Prime example of Danielle not doing her research. In the Women's Professional Baseball League, I'm going with New York.
Yep.
And then the person who wrote in also included the Northern Super League. We have decided to only focus on sports within the U.S. so we can stay somewhat contained. So we don't have a team there, but you should tell us who we should like there, and
yes.
we will happily support. Okay, our last question in the sports, and then we're going to get into personal. With all the growth, expansion, and viewership with women's sports, when will it finally get the recognition it deserves?
That's a tough one.
I know. We're ending with a tough one.
I feel like it will never get the recognition it deserves in our lifetime.
In our lifetime. I think you might be right.
The rate at which it's going, I'm just like, why is it so hard?
Yeah. The same way, and this is sad, but I don't think we'll see a woman president in our lifetime either, is similar. I don't know if it will happen in our lifetime, but I do think in order for it to happen, and I do think we've seen a lot of progress. And I know that the progress feels slow and it can be very frustrating. It's frustrating for us too. But I do think when the leagues, like when the WNBA, when the NWSL start treating these players like the professionals that they are at like a high level and start advocating for them in a way where they're not trying to, like, everyone wants to make money, but give these women more respect, give these athletes, these professional athletes more respect. I do think when the leagues themselves start treating the players more like the professionals that they are, how they treat the men is when we will start seeing people getting the recognition that they deserve.
Yeah. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope it does happen in our lifetime. It just feels slow right now.
It does feel slow. Okay, let's get into some personal questions. We're almost there. We have 6 more questions.
Yes. First one is, what is the story on Scout? Scout is currently at our feet, curled up in a ball as we record. Did you get her when she was a puppy? I'll tell the story because this is one of my favorite stories to tell.
I know it is. Danielle literally maybe 12 times a year, it's probably more than that, sits Scout down, our dog, and tells her this story. Like, she can listen, and she tells her it all the time. So take it away, Danielle.
So we knew we always wanted a dog, and in our New Jersey apartment, we couldn't have a dog. Then our first Denver apartment, it was way too small to have a dog. And then we moved into a bigger apartment with a yard, and we were like, okay, we're going to get a dog. And we were ready. We went on vacation in New Jersey. We knew we wanted to get one somewhat soon. We had been looking at different rescues. It was still COVID. We got engaged back in New Jersey that week. And that week I was also looking at a rescue that was in Denver. It's called Lifeline Puppy Rescue. And each week they post puppies. So you can go on their page and you can see the puppies that were available. And during COVID, it was actually very hard to get rescues because everyone was getting dogs during COVID in Denver. So there was a lottery system. And I remember looking at it the week because I was like, when we go back, if there's a puppy that we like, we should get one. And I thought it was going to take weeks before we got picked for the lottery. So I submit our names and we get selected. The viewing of these puppies was the Sunday we returned back from our vacation in New Jersey. And the slot we got was the morning slot, but we didn't land till the afternoon. So I had to contact them and I was like, can we go in the afternoon? Now, I saw Scout's photo on this website. I kid you not, it was love at first sight.
We need to post the photo. We'll post the photo now.
It was the cutest picture I've ever seen of any dog. And I was like, so stressed. I was like, I need that dog. I'm so scared it's not going to be there when we get there. But that is the dog. I remember showing my parents the pictures. And my dad would be like, what about this dog? What about I was like, no, I need that dog. And it was Scout. And we got off the plane. We got home, put our bags down, jumped in the car, and went right to the rescue. Scout was still there, luckily, somehow. And we sprinted over to her cage, went in, and I was like, Carolyn, there's just one other dog. I just want to see, because we didn't want to, like, you got to make sure personality matches. But even when I was in the other cage with the other dog, I was like, I need that other dog. Like, I need that black and white dog.
We didn't even leave Scout.
I
like,
made you stay
stayed.
because I was so scared someone was going to go in and swoop her up, which you're not supposed to do. So I'm sorry, Lifeline Puppy Rescue. But Scout has a very nice home now, I promise.
And she's our soulmate. And you knew it from the very start.
Literally, literally love at first sight. And the only thing you were scared of is in her picture, it looked like she could have been mixed with a corgi. And you were like, is she going to be weirdly shaped?
Yeah, I was worried. And I love corgis, but I was like, she's like a black and white dog. Her legs look short, but she's just a sweet little girl. And we got her when she was 14 weeks old.
Yeah, she was 12 pounds. A little thing with the biggest ears.
She was so cute.
And we swooped her up. We took her to the PetSmart that day, got all the things we needed, and then went home and just obsessed over her ever since.
Yes. All we talk about.
Literally. And yeah, she's laying at our feet right now. I ran with her this morning. I must say she's the worst running partner ever, but I still love her to death.
We do love her unconditionally.
Yes. Okay, I could talk about Scout all day. I should have put that as my other podcast topics.
Just Scout. How much you love your dog.
Yeah. Okay, this is about Denver specifically. What are some of your favorite spots in Denver when it comes to eating, shopping, hiking? For eating, what are your top?
We love Uncle. It's a ramen place. It's so
good.
delicious. They have the best spicy ramen. They also have this cold sesame noodle dish that is so good. And then if we're going on a date and we want something nice, we do Safta, which is a Mediterranean place here in Denver. And it's also very, very good. However, if you're visiting Denver and you want recommendations, please reach out to us because I could give you so many recommendations. You could say you like Indian food or Thai food, and I can give you specific recommendations. But those are the ones that come to the top. Do you have anything to
Dos
add?
Santos.
Oh my gosh, I forgot.
We haven't been way too long. We gotta go. So Dos Santos is like a street taco place. To date, I will still say best margarita I've ever had. I don't say that lightly.
Yeah.
I am a snob when it comes to my margaritas, and they just make unbelievable margs. They have different kinds. That's another great date spot for us. It's on the cheaper side. You're in and out. They're always playing good music. It's in a good location. So that's on my list to go to very soon.
Yeah, we need to go back. Shopping.
I don't like shopping.
Danielle likes to online shop. I also, well, you don't like to shop, period. I more online shop, and then I'll be like, I got this for you. Do you want to try it on? I also do a lot of shopping on Nuuly, where I rent clothes and then I end up keeping them or giving them back. I do like that. But on Broadway in Denver, which is a street, there are a lot of thrift stores and vintage stores. And when we need something and we're prepared to go shopping, that's where we go.
Yes.
And then hiking, we are really big on lake trails.
Yes.
With that being said, again, if you are coming to Denver and you're looking for some recommendations, we can give you all the recommendations. But these are some of the ones that I feel like someone coming out of town could do. So one is Lake Isabel. It's a beautiful hike. It's about 6 miles, but not too difficult. If you're ready for something difficult, it would be Sky Pond in Rocky Mountain. We also really love the Chicago Lakes Trail. And then we've done the Herman Gulch Trail multiple times, and it's another good one if you're visiting.
Yeah. Those are all great.
And all of these are within like an hour or so of Denver. So
yes.
good ones to go to.
This next one's funny. Will Danielle's thirst for home improvement projects ever be quenched? What comes after the basement?
Will it ever be quenched? Or am I doing this for the rest of my life?
I don't think it will ever be quenched until everything looks as though we want it to.
Help me.
I'm already thinking about what's next after the basement.
What's next?
There's a few things I want to do. Both bathrooms need something different, especially our upstairs bathroom. The linoleum floor is literally the bane of my existence.
It's wretched.
So bad. Seriously, what's next after the basement is done? We need to rip up the carpet in our upstairs and on our stairs. It is heinous.
It is heinous.
It looks like barf, and there is a lot of Scout barf on it that we've had to clean multiple times. Somehow she always finds the carpet, even though there's wood floors downstairs, Scout. Yeah, I'm looking at you down there. But the carpet, I just don't know who picked this color. We have wood floors under the carpet. Why would you cover those beautiful wood floors? It's got to go.
Yep, I think that's our next project.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll hire out for some of that.
Yes.
This one's also for you, Danielle. The three of us are in a boat. Carolyn, Scout, and Danielle. Both Carolyn and Scout get tossed out. Who do you rescue?
This is insulting. Obviously, I would rescue my wife first, and then I would grab Scout and hold on to both of you.
Oh, both of us.
Yes.
You could have said that I'm a better swimmer than Scout.
No, Scout can swim. She
just doesn't like
confident
to
in her.
swim.
But she would find a way to track us down.
So it's
she
me
would.
first.
Yeah. Would you save Scout over me?
I would, of course, choose you first.
Okay.
However, if for some reason Scout didn't make it, like if you just chose to save me and then Scout perished.
That's horrible.
It is horrible. I don't think you would ever forgive yourself.
Would I ever forgive myself if you did not make it?
I know, but I wouldn't have to hear it. Like for the rest of our lives, I would have to hear how we didn't save Scout.
But it wouldn't be because I saved you. It would just be like, how horrible is it that I couldn't save Scout too?
Yeah.
I don't like this. I hate talking about death and people not making it, or our lovely dog.
So Danielle's
really
going
sad.
one arm Carolyn, one arm Scout.
Yes.
Okay, and our final question, we've been doing this for a while now, is how has this project and our other projects happening, so the podcast and home improvement projects, grown our relationship?
For me, I would say communication.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we were already pretty good communicators, but like you have to communicate when you're doing home projects or the podcast, and communicate your needs and what you need more of and who's doing what. So I would say that, and learning how to fight the right way, because when we're doing house projects, or we've had fights about the podcast, but we fight, I would say, in a way that is respectful. And sometimes we raise our voices. I would say not often, and not like we're not screaming at each other, but we've admittedly raised our voices at each other and pulled a chewed with each other. And we'll say to each other, I did not like how you said that, or I didn't like your attitude. So that kind of goes with communication too, but it just forces us to reflect and be like, okay, we're not going to talk to each other like that. Yeah. When we're in this situation again, how do we approach it better? And I just think that's life and being in a relationship. We spend a shit ton of time together.
Yeah, we do.
And I love that. But obviously fights are going to happen because we're with each other all the time. So yeah, we've learned a lot about each other and how to manage the stress that comes with it.
Yeah, and I would also add, we don't work together in our regular day jobs. And so I don't get to see a lot of how you work in a professional sense. And I remember when we went to Unrivaled together and we were just like tag teaming, figuring out how to do things. And it was this time in the car and we just looked at each other and we were like, this is amazing. This is like amazing that we get to do these things together. And so to see our growth through a podcast lens and to do it together has been really, really nice.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So here's to 100 more episodes. We'll see. We try to take it day by day, but we are so thankful that you wrote in so many questions. That was amazing. That's all of our questions for today. If you have more questions, you can submit them to our listener experience zone, the Les, and we will answer them throughout the week, and we won't take up an entire episode to do it. So you can also do that as well.
Yeah, but seriously, thanks for providing the space and allowing us to answer all these questions and talk about ourselves for way too long.
Way too long.
But we love y'all. It's great to have listeners. Before we wrap up, we do have some updates for this week that we need to share. Run Club, we do have to share a secret word. This week's word is Scout, because we did give her a lot of shout outs today. So if you're coming to Run Club on Thursday at 6 p.m. at the 99er Sports Bar, run 3 miles with us. After, if you share the word Scout with the bartenders, you will get 50% off your first draft.
That's right. And to get off our betrayal list, please rate and subscribe.
Yes. All right. That is it for this week. We will see you next week on Women's Sports Weekly. In the meantime, watch Women's Sports and share the podcast with your friends. Rate and subscribe to the pod on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. Thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye.